I'm going to show you a couple of ways to find potential contacts. And most of the ways that I'm going to show you are ways to find cold contacts, people you're not already connected with, so that you can connect with these people and potentially get a job that way. And this could be for informational interviewing earlier on, informational interviewing later on, or a potential follow-up for after you apply for a job. But these are just great ways to find contacts. So the first way that I think is really helpful is using LinkedIn. So say you're really interested in Duolingo. What I did here in the search bar is I searched Duolingo, and then I found the company, pulled up the company on LinkedIn. And the first thing that I'm going to do is look at people. Say you are interested in a program management job and you want to contact someone who's a program manager at Duolingo just to learn more about it. I think it's sometimes easier to contact folks who aren't in HR and recruiting because the people in HR and recruiting tend to get a lot of messages. So I'm going to search program manager under here. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm interested in a job in New York. So I might filter it down here, and you see there's a couple people who are program managers who live in New York. So I'm going to filter it down to the location as well. So it lets me filter multiple things on this list. So I can do New York and program manager. And now 13 employees come up. And so I might pick one of these employees to reach out and message and ask for more information about what it's like to work at Duolingo, their past experience, their work, etc. So that's one way to find people through LinkedIn. Another way that you can find people through LinkedIn is through the advanced search. So if you go here and you are just searching, I think you have to search something first. So I'm going to search program manager, and then it should bring up the opportunity for an advanced search. So you can start to search based on people. So I'm going to search program manager, people, and I'm going to hit all filters here. That will allow me to do a more advanced search. So I want to find program managers that are in North Carolina and that went to, I'm going to type in NC State because that is where I went to school. And that's another way to connect with people, is finding people who went to the same undergrad as you, because that automatically creates a connection. So I'm filtering it that way. So that is the advanced search. It allows me to add more things into it. So say I didn't want to look at program managers based on companies I was interested in. I wanted to find program managers in the area that I lived in that I could potentially connect with. This is another good way to do that. Another great resource is hunter.io. This is a way to guess certain people's email addresses so that you can send follow-up emails or reach out for informational interviews. And oftentimes people check their email more than they check their LinkedIn messages. So if you can find someone's email, that is great. Now, hopefully you don't even have to guess their email address. You might be able to find their email address on their website, on their company website. So say you want to look at potential program management jobs in the area that you live, you could also go to the Chamber of Commerce website for the town that you're in and scroll down and look at different categories of businesses and say, I'm interested in working in engineering, maybe being a program manager there. I could click on the engineering companies in the area. And then I could go to their website. I could see if there's people's email addresses on their website, and then reach out to people on the website and either send a informational interview request, or I could send a value add message. The informational interview would be to get information and learn about the organization. And if you have time to do that, people tend to be very receptive to that. And then the value add message is if you're thinking, okay, I have very little time. I'm trying to send out as many messages as possible. I want them to know I'm interested in working here, even if they don't have a position posted, like I talked about in the last video. So those are a couple of great resources for finding potential contacts online, but it's like you're a detective and you're trying to find people and where they work and reach out to these potential people. And doing this sort of research and outreach is so important in the process. And if you're just applying to jobs online, a lot of times that won't get you the results as quickly as you might need. When people are in the process of reaching out to potential contacts, a lot of the questions that I get are around how many people do I reach out to? What's the right amount? And I think I talked about in the last video a little bit, but you want to reach out to several people a week. And if you are thinking about making a job change 6 months from now or a year from now, a year out is a good time to start making those connections and planting those seeds. 6 months out is great too. If you're 3 months out or 4 months out from wanting to make a job change, you'll really want to reach out and put some messages out there into the universe. Just something to think about in terms of the timeline. Another thing to think about is the amount of people that you're reaching out to at each individual company. You don't want to reach out to more than 2 or 3 people per company. I would start out with somebody on the team that you would potentially want to work on. And if they don't get back to you within 5 to 7 business days, maybe consider reaching out to someone else or someone in the HR department that you could talk to, a recruiter, someone who looks like they would handle recruiting for that position. But I wouldn't send 3 or 4 messages at the same time to people within the same company. It starts to feel a little bit spammy, and especially if those messages aren't tailored to those specific individuals and it doesn't look like you've read their background and information and it's like the same message to each person, people get frustrated with that and will often share it within the company and talk about it, and that can prevent your chances of getting hired. So make sure that when you're reaching out to people, you are tailoring the message that you are sending to that individual, noticing their background, maybe where they went to school, the amount of time that they've been enrolled at that company, and that you are taking some space in between reaching out to people at the same company.